This is breaking news in the Bryan Kohberger world today. Right. So we have a new motion that is broken down here by Newsweek for us. And it says, the very top, Bryan Kohberger's attorneys fight over footage of his crotch. You can't make this up. Yikes. And yeah, you might want to go back and do your recaption in the community post. Because remember, she would like this. Maybe he saw our caption post. Lawyers for the Idaho quadruple murder suspect, Bryan Kohberger, recently argued that cameras in court are focusing too much on their client's crotch and should be removed for future hearings. Last week, lawyers for Kohberger filed a motion in court for the removal, citing several issues with past camera footage, including a claim that some cameras have been targeting his fly. What? What? This is bananas. There's one camera, a pool camera.
John Wayne Bobbitt's penis.
On Wednesday, several media outlets, including the Associated Press, filed a motion to intervene, asking the court to allow cameras in Kohberger's coming hearings. And there he is. He thinks that people are looking at his crotch. In addition, although Mr. Kohberger argues that he is entitled to defend himself against capital charges without cameras focused on his fly, that assertion misstates the role that courtroom camera coverage played in the X, formerly Twitter, social media post that appears at page 3 of his motion. We're going to have to go look at this motion. No photographs or camera coverage focused on Mr. Kohberger's fly. The motion filed by the news outlet said. The motion filed by the news organization goes on to state that camera coverage in the courtroom is not specifically focused on Kohberger, but instead shows a wide variety of coverage of the overall case. Newsweek reached out to Ann Taylor via email on Thursday and received no comment. Here's some comments. Well, I've never heard a focused on his fly defense used in court before. Maybe Trump should use it in his televised Georgia trial. Those lawyers are projecting and desperate. Deborah, I think he needs his crotch cut apart while he is alive. So much he is requesting, and it's crazy. He is a devil. He deserves nothing but a firing squad. If they were my beautiful babies, he would not be walking around with a big smile on his face. Okay. Comes now. Bryan C. Kohberger, through his attorneys of record, and files this motion to remove cameras from the courtroom for the remainder of the proceedings in this matter, pursuant to his right to a fair trial and effective assistance of counsel guaranteed by the 6th and 14th Amendments. Oh my God, they have screenshots. Camera-wielding courtroom observers have failed to obey the court's June 27th directive to cease focusing exclusively on Mr. Kohberger, necessitating the expulsion of cameras from future proceedings. The question presented by this motion is whether Mr. Kohberger faces deprivation of his right under the 14th Amendment to due process by the continued televising and broadcasting of his trial. Recent press behavior in the courtroom clearly demonstrates that this is the case. Nearly 2 months ago, on June 27th, 2023, the court warned press observers not to focus strictly on Mr. Kohberger and to show a wide shot of the courtroom if they wish to continue filming court proceedings live. Fox News, Bryan Kohberger, judge issues warning to media at start of hearing on Idaho student murders, June 27th, 2023, with the link. Press observers have thus far failed to comply with the court's direction, as the continued publication of images, such as these shown below, continues to the present day. Okay, none of those pictures show a crotch. These photos, a blatant violation of the court's directive to cease focusing exclusively on Mr. Kohberger in their own right. Also later, they can't zoom in on him, but I can. Also later appended to articles with blatantly sensationalistic and prejudice. I can't even say that word. Prejudice. Oh my gosh, I can't say it. Help me. Prejudicial headlines and content. The rightmost of the three photos above being used in an August 22, 2023 Daily Beast article. Report says Kohberger's creepiness with women goes back to high school. Oh my God. Further, the cameras, he's browsing social media, isn't he? Is he able to be on Twitter? Further, the camera's continued exclusive focus on Mr. Kohberger provides fodder for observers and purported analysis on social media who are not bound by notions of journalistic integrity and who have potentially an even greater reach than traditional media outlets. The proliferation of these images and videos is plainly observable on social media platforms such as TikTok and X, in posts such as these provided below. What? They think that's his crotch. As the as the press itself notes in the June 27th admonition, the court referenced the recent Chad Daybell trial when cameras were asked to leave because they focused too much on the defendant. Indeed, such a parallel was drawn in the defense's prior memorandum on cameras during hearings. Yet, camera-wielding courtroom observers remain undeterred. The chief function of our judicial machinery is to ascertain the truth. The use of television, however, cannot be said to contribute materially to this objective. Rather, its use amounts the injection of an irrelevant factor into court proceedings. As has previously been argued, the circumstances present in Mr. Kohberger's case are singular and pose an extraordinary risk of prejudice beyond even that posed in Estes. Observers' continued failure to comply with the court's June 27th directive compounds this problem and results in the potential jury pool's constant inundation with conclusory accusations and sensationalistic nonsense guised as factual reporting and analysis. Whereas in Testes, the attendant risk of prejudice was limited to potential jurors watching of television or reading of print media. Now this risk follows the potential jury pool wherever they go, viewable on their smartphones and constantly updated by thousands of unchecked sources. Each jury carries with him into the jury box these solemn facts and thus increases the chance of prejudice that is present in every criminal case. The images and videos provided above were taken during pre-trial court proceedings, but pose no less danger. To the contrary, they gradually poison the potential jury pool to trial, even occurring, winnowing the number of jurors able to render a just, unbiased verdict. To the extent that television shapes sentiment, it can strip the accused of a fair trial. The Estes court itself noted that unrestricted television coverage can be corrosive to non-trial proceedings and preemptively limit the potential for an eventual fair verdict. As such, far from constituting an undue and over-restrictive burden of the press's right of free speech, expulsion of cameras used to flout the court's limited directive that Mr. Kohberger not be the sole focus of images and videos taken is the sole meaning of limiting what the Estes court expressively recognized to be a form of mental, if not physical, harassment. The inevitable close-ups of his gestures and expressions during the ordeal of this trial might well transgress his personal sensibilities, his dignity, and his ability to concentrate on the proceedings before him. Sometimes the difference between life and death, as it is indeed here, dispassionately, freely, and without the distraction of wide public surveillance. A defendant on trial for a specific crime is entitled to his day in court, not a stadium or a city or nationwide arena. Similarly, Mr. Kohberger is entitled to defend himself against capital criminal charges without cameras focused on his fly.
What? God almighty.
This is disgusting. He's disgusting. He's disgusting. His goal is to torment these victims as long as he possibly can. Fight me. Fight me if you think I'm wrong. No one's looking at his fly. No one cares about his fly. He is trying to be relevant, even. He couldn't make it cut and fish because he can't talk to people. He was told he was not asked to come back to that job. He couldn't make it in the security program. He couldn't make it in the HVAC program. He couldn't finish high school. He stayed home and finished. Then he did heroin and he couldn't quit that. He went to rehab several times. I mean, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Now he's like, oh, I'll put this in there and focus on my private parts. Imagine being Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana's parents. Or friends. Or loved ones. And this guy does this shit. Ain't nobody interested in this dude's fly. But maybe they should put him in prison. Maybe he'll get some interest in his peen there. Let's continue reading. To the inordinate and exclusive focus on Mr. Kohberger, courtroom observers have routinely violated the court's May 16th order, providing in part that no video or still photograph shall be taken of any papers, documents, or notes which may be located on or around counsel tables or used by counsel. This noncompliance is clearly demonstrated in the below provided photos, taken during the most recent hearing, and has continuously undermined the court's stated interest in, quote, maintaining order and an environment that permits all participants to focus on their responsibilities without undue distractions. Aware of the constant attention paid to the counsel table and the risk that confidential and sensitive information could be scrutinized, photographed, published, defense counsel has been forced to divert their attention to ensure notes and other materials are hidden from prying eyes. What? The only prying eyes are his. The only prying eyes are his. Unbelievable. His fly? And what kind of wording is that? What kind of fucking wording is that? This exact conduct was found by Teste's court to be a circumstances depriving the petitioner of a fair trial. See Teste's 381 U.S. at 538. Whereas in Estes, this conduct was characterized by a singular and extreme occurrence. In the present case, it has become disruptively routine and must be abated if Mr. Kohberger is to receive effective representation. When is Ann Kohberger going to say, enough, motherfucker, enough? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Don't quote me on this, but this is my theory. He's getting Hanes socks from the canteen, shoving them down his drawers, and he wants all the ladies to look. Because ain't no ladies ever wanted to know what was in them pants. It's all a game. He thinks this is a fucking game. Okay, this is a post edit. I had to come back and add this because upon further inspection, this post on X by Phil Foss says, is Bryan Kohberger afraid of heights? Because his fly is. Bryan Kohberger cannot handle being made fun of even while he's sitting in the Latah County Jail. He's trying to fight back on being made fun of. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.